Yeah, he's walking in.
Hey, how could he time that?
All right, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Today we have an invocation provided by Pastor P.J. Beaver of Hope City Church. Thanks for coming out tonight.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, it's a privilege to be a part of this community, and we're just thankful to be a part, to live and work here. And Hope City is just been blessed to be a part of Bonita Springs for the last 4.5 years, and we're celebrating breaking ground on a new building. And thank you, Mayor, for joining us for that about a month ago. So that was great. So let's pray. Lord, we thank you for the opportunity to live and work in Bonita Springs. God, we thank you for the blessing to be a part of this nation and celebrate these 250 years coming up. And God, we pray for wisdom tonight for our city leaders as they discuss plans, as they strategize. Lord, we pray for peace. We pray for wisdom. We pray for discernment. And we pray that you would guide this meeting and continue to bless our community. And we ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Councilmember Bogas.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Purdon.
Here.
Councilmember Carr.
Here.
Mayor Gibson.
Here.
Councilmember Fullick.
Here.
Councilmember Fitzpatrick.
Here.
Councilmember Corey.
Here.
All right, need a motion for Chris to be removed.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Roll call.
Deputy Mayor Purdon.
Yes.
Councilmember Bogas.
Aye.
Councilmember Fitzpatrick.
Aye.
Mayor Gibson.
Aye.
Councilmember Carr.
Aye.
Councilmember Fullick.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. All right. Public comment on agenda items. Do we have any public comment tonight? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to ceremonial proclamations and presentations. Tonight we have Oak Creek Charter School and their Taekwondo team here. So if you guys all want to come up, Mr. Martin. You want to face it? All right. Tonight we asked Oak Creek Charter to come in. The Taekwondo team made it to the national championship. So we have this certificate of recognition proudly presented to Oak Creek Charter School 2026 Taekwondo team student athletes. In recognition of your advancement to this summer's AAU Taekwondo National Championships, one of the highest tiers of amateur Taekwondo competition in the United States, by qualifying for this distinction, you join the ranks of the nation's most accomplished young Taekwondo competitors and carry the pride of the city of Bonita Springs onto the national stage. Your dedication and unwavering spirit exemplify the very best of our community, and we convey our profound pride as you rise to this next level of excellence. You're welcome. Thanks for coming out tonight. Oh, yeah. Nice run. We've got some pins, Bonita Springs pins, so they can represent the area when they're out there. Thank you. All right, and tonight we also have a proclamation. Whereas July 4th, 2026 marks the 250th anniversary, the semi-quincentennial of the adoption of the Declaration of Independence by the Second Continental Congress in Philadelphia, signifying the birth of the United States of America, and whereas the Declaration of Independence declared timeless truths that form the enduring foundation of the American Republic, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by the Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And to secure these rights, governments derive their just powers from the consent of the governed. And whereas America's 250th anniversary offers a rare opportunity for all Americans to reflect upon the blessings of liberty, celebrate our shared history, and reaffirm our dedication to the founding principles first declared in 1776. Principles carried forward through 250 years marked by triumphs and challenges, ingenuity and extraordinary achievements, bravery and sacrifice, and the ever-advancing work of forming a more perfect union. And whereas our community will mark this historic milestone on Saturday, July 4th, beginning at 9 a.m. with the Independence Day Parade organized by the Bonita Springs Firefighters Union since 1958, and at 6 p.m. with the city's Star-Spangled Bonita event at Riverside Park, which culminates at dusk with a spectacular laser, drone, and fireworks finale. Now, therefore, I, Mike Gibson, Mayor of the Bonita Springs, on behalf of the City Council, do hereby proclaim Saturday, July 4th, 2026, as America's 250th birthday celebration in the city of Bonita Springs. And we encourage everyone to join together in celebration and proudly fly the flag of the United States and to adorn the community in patriotic colors so that we may demonstrate our united spirit through this historic occasion. Done and ordered this 17th day of June, 2026. If I can get all the council to come up for a photo. Somebody's getting that. I forget who though.
Okay. You gonna need it on Saturday?
All right, moving on to the consent agenda. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call.
Councilmember Carr.
Aye.
Mayor Gibson.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Purdon.
Aye.
Councilmember Fullick.
Aye.
Councilmember Fitzpatrick.
Aye.
Councilmember Bogues.
Aye.
Councilmember Corey.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Lori had a
I
comment?
do, just a question. Riverfest event, the bathrooms were gonna be provided, but then there's a point where the contract said to be determined.
Yeah, they're still finalizing how much it's going to cost and everything, so.
Okay. Thank you. But there will be bathrooms.
No, you got to hold it. Yeah, no, there'll be bathrooms. All right. Moving on to presentations. Presentation on emergency preparedness and introduction of partner agencies.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. At this time, Neighborhood Services will come forward for our annual presentation on preparedness for storm season. Additionally, our agencies, our partnering agencies are here to give you a brief update. This does meet the conditions of approval for the NFIP program as our public outreach. So if you allow us the opportunity to go run through each of these, this does provide our NFIP accreditations.
Hello, Tony.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. For the record, Tony Backhurst, Director of Neighbourhood Services and Emergency Management. I'm just going to attempt to find my PowerPoint here.
Down one.
Hurricane, yeah.
This one here?
No, not
Oh.
below it.
Last one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yep.
There it is.
I'm here to please you.
Thank you so
Whatever you
much.
need. Window.
That was an impressive start for couldn't find my presentation. So going to just run through what the city has done in terms of our preparedness. It's a 12-month of the year issue that we're always working on, and our other partner agencies have been kind enough to come as well. And I will get through. This is the acronym presentation. So I'm not going to go through every single point here. Suffice to say, our emergency management plan is now well over 1,000 pages. It's been added to, updated, and city staff have participated in a number of different training and conferences. We did have attendees at the Governor's Conference on Hurricane Preparedness and other state and training with federal partners, and obviously with our local partners as well. This is our third season of FROC, being a member of the FROC program, which is the Florida Recovery Obligation Calculation, and we've been involved in it since its inception. Equipment and all the things there, everything is done as it is every single year. We get as much preparation as we possibly can. It's always hope for the best, but prepare for the worst, and it's the prior preparation and planning prevents poor performance. So the actual plan and how we operate works upon this premise, which is mitigation, preparedness, response, and recovery. This is constant and ongoing. It's a wheel, goes around the whole time. We do have staff now that are devoted to our emergency preparedness and emergency management 12 months of the year, and work with, let's say, all the other agencies. So the emergency management plan, the EMP, the methodology works under the NIMS, which is the National Incident Management System, which is a FEMA-directed, proactive approach. And what it is all the agencies that are involved all work under the NIMS, and then we work under ICS, which is the Incident Command System. So it sounds like, again, like a whole bunch of acronyms, but there's a bunch of systems that are in place to make it work. In the event of an emergency, it's scalable. It can be as small or expand to as big as we need it to be, and we obviously utilize all resources we possibly can. So what does that mean for our city? So our city command structure would change from how we're working in departments. Everything will go in the serious situation, and we have had that. It'd be what's up there on the right, which is an incident commander, which would be the city manager, and then it would go down and have different people for different roles, and then they work with our partner agencies who are also working under a similar system. So daily operations, we have what would be known as an IAP, and again with acronyms, and the best thing I think is on the right hand side. And all an incident action plan is a fancy way of saying what do we need to do, who's responsible for doing it, what resources are needed, and how are we going to communicate. And communication is obviously the very important component and part of it. So resource requests, we do have a fair amount of sustainability within the city. However, we've obviously got limited resources. So when it comes to where we simply cannot respond with sufficient resources in an instant, it would go in through this funnel system, which is information in, information out, and it goes through that choke point. So as you can see at the bottom, it would say, would be us, the red incident command and the unified command. Then it goes up to the local EOC, which is up in Fort Myers, and then state EOC, and then it will go up. So we would utilize a thing called Web EOC. If we need something, we put in the request to Web EOC. It goes then at that point up to Fort Myers and the county, and if they are unable to provide it, then it goes up. The system is very streamlined, and it does work in an impressive way. I've been here for a number of storms now, and it just does keep getting better and better in the way it's responding. And FROC, I've covered this a number of times, Florida Recovery Obligation Calculation. And what that is a self-imposed, pretty much easiest way to say it, a self-imposed audit whereby our emergency preparedness is looked at by the state. The state will look and see, where are we with this stuff? And they will give us a score. It's called a disaster readiness assessment. It takes 12 months, but pretty much to go around. And so we've been in 3 times. And it's a risk evaluation, so they're going to look at where we are with our measures and our systems and our protocols. And at that point, then, they will work with us. We will continue to improve ourselves. And they will give us a score, so that it's to basically reduce the risk of deobligation. We want to make sure we're not going to get deobligated for any of these Category A or Category B issues that we're going to have when we put through. And it's public assistance funding. So the scores, and I know I've thrown out numbers in one of my prior presentations, and it's out of 80. So with FROC, you can receive up to 80% of funding up front. And then that is done by looking at a disaster readiness assessment. So I've tried to utilize the little yellow circle on the left-hand side. So we scored, it's out of 40, and then the baseline you get 20. So it's out of 60. We scored 53 as a city. So pretty good, 53 out of 60. The additional 20 are for a post-disaster questionnaire, which is done very, very soon after the event. That information is provided upwards to the state, and then it's passed on. So if we do to FDEM, if we do everything possible, we have the ability to get 73% of funding up front on a serious incident, which is obviously if you look at Lisa's presentation earlier on finance, we're talking about a large amount of money when we're responding to one of these incidents. So this year we had the NOAA, this was forwarded to us from National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. So they're saying it's a below normal season. There's my pronunciation, I apologize, but it's an El Nino is expected to develop, and El Ninos, even though we got slightly warmer than normal ocean temperatures, the trade winds are likely going to be weaker than average. Most of our storms do come across via the trade winds across the Atlantic. El Nino's impact historically has suppressed some hurricane development, but there's still uncertainty in the season. I remember last season it was an above average was the prediction, but they do then, the NOAA will have early August, they will have a redo and come out with another prediction, because this is an early one. But we are forecast to be 35% below normal, 55% near normal, and then 10% above normal. And then if you look on the bottom, what is normal? They've done it as an average as 14 named storms, 7 hurricanes, and 3 major hurricanes. And I just want to put in, they have got some upgrades this year. There was some last year as well. Most of this is to do with the tropical cyclone forecast and the cone. And they're constantly trying to improve that. I know so many people down here who live in our area. They are glued to that cone. When the cone comes out, and the weather people, that's their Super Bowl when they're calling that stuff. And it's all about the cone. Are we in? Are we out? There's improvements in that this year. And there's also, they're coming up with experimental seasonal forecast system, which is increasing the efficiency of the modeling. So that's their major upgrades. And here is what was sent out. So they are predicting 8 to 14 total named storms. 3 to 6 are forecast to become hurricanes. This includes 1 to 3 major hurricanes, which is Cat 3, 4, or 5, with winds of 111 miles an hour or higher. And NOAA has 70% confidence in these ranges. The names we have here, I guess we can already strike Arthur off because Arthur's heading towards Texas and Louisiana. That was named today. So we have down there, I believe it's the 21 names. Hopefully we don't get to use all of those names. And up there, the graphic shows the probability where the 35%, 55 and a 10. And any questions?
Nigel?
Yeah, Tony, good job as always, thank you. On that FROC designation, that score is basically for the amount of assistance or percentage of assistance. Is there anything on that score, or did you say something last year about another score that the insurance companies might look at as far as evaluating Bonita Springs?
No, this is purely for the state to look at and assess where we are at. And so we're at 53 average. We got 52, I believe, was for debris removal, and then it was 54 was for our emergency system that we have in place, our emergency management plan. So we average it to 53. I should add that we have now got our own contract for debris management and debris monitoring, which will add points for next year, but it unfortunately wasn't in time. We've always worked with cooperative purchasing with the county on that, and for some reason that was always looked upon by the state as it wasn't us. It was the term piggybacking has been thrown around. It's cooperative purchasing is what we use, but now we actually do have, and the green sheet today was for the monitoring contract that went through.
To clarify, FROC is for the financial reimbursement of the city's expenses through the state. The flood insurance program, the CRS rating, is a different process. This also, providing this outreach at this point is also part of that CRS process and rating that we get. We're required to do community outreach and updates. This qualifies. Some communities have hurricane workshops, different outreach on media, and this suffices as our requirement.
Laura?
Hi, Tony. So NIMS is just strictly weather-related or natural disaster, not anything to do with
It could be any,
terrorism or
any,
Yeah, this
it
is
could
an-
be any emergency.
Yeah, it's an emergency management plan. It's for any emergency.
For example, a COVID situation, the emergency management plan,
Yes.
we went into operation for that as well. Any other type thing, time to time, the fire department will make us aware of a gas situation, and then the emergency management plan goes into place.
Great. And what about the European model? Do you guys look at that?
I can personally say, and we've got a number of other people there, and John from the county as well. We look at everything that comes out, and hurricane season, you look at, if you're talking about the spaghetti models and the tracking and the modeling system, and you hear the European models not as good as the American model or vice versa. I would just say, I know from Hurricane Ian, I got some eye-opening on that one, because the one that was considered to be wild and wacky, 2 weeks out, turned out to be the one that was right. But they all know it is what it is. They're dealing with weather; it can change.
Under the NIM system, and there's state contracts with the National Weather Service. We have a contract with National. We're storm certified. All of that information and data is funneled through the state to the counties, which have regular 3-hour, 4-hour meeting windows of meeting times where we're updated based on that information. That's the scientific data we work through as the National Weather Service.
Great. Thank you very much. Great job, Tony.
Any other questions?
So we do have our partnering agencies here, and I think, Tony, if you could just introduce each of them one by one, they'll give you their update.
Yep, we have from Lee County Public Safety, the Chief Emergency.
John Schultz.
John Schultz.
Hey, nice to see you. Before I begin, I just want to take a moment and recognize Commissioner Sandelli out there in the crowd. He's a great asset to Lee County, and appreciate you being here. Also, I'm going to talk about collaboration, but Commander Benora, he and I go way back 25 years. We were both troopers together. So you have a great man over your law enforcement in the city of Bonita Springs. So I wanted to give him a shout out. we talk about collaboration. It's in blue skies and gray skies, and when you can pick up the phone and you know who exactly you're talking to and that relationship is built, that's huge. So thank you, Mark, for being here. Good evening, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, council members, city managers, staff, and the residents of Bonita Springs. Thank you for the opportunity to address you as we enter into hurricane season. I bring greetings on behalf of Director Abus, who I'm pinch hitting for today because he's at another event, but the men and women of Lee County Public Safety. We greatly value our partnership with the City of Bonita Springs and appreciate the collaboration throughout the year to help keep our community safe and resilient. I'd also like to highlight the strong partnership with Chief DeWitt. I know he's not here today, but that partnership with the fire department as well, along with our partners with the Sheriff's Department. At Lee County Emergency Management, our mission is simple: to collaboratively manage emergencies that impact Lee County. Collaboration is central to our mission. Emergency management requires team effort. Success depends on residents, businesses, municipalities, first responders, public works, utilities, and volunteer organizations and government agencies working together toward a common goal. In recent years, Southwest Florida has been no stranger to hurricanes, and the lessons learned from storms such as Hurricane Ian, as well as the recent events from 2024, have reinforced the importance of preparing before a storm is at our doorstep. President John F. Kennedy once said, "The time to repair the roof is when the sun is shining." This quote captures the essence of preparedness. Our actions today shape our ability to respond tomorrow. This evening, I'd like to share 3 key preparedness messages. First, have a plan and build an emergency kit. Every household needs a plan. Families should decide where to go if evacuation is needed, how to communicate if cell service is limited, and how to account for children, older adults, pets, and those with special needs. Each household should also maintain an emergency supply kit to sustain a family for several days. That kit could include water, non-perishable food, medications, important documents, flashlight, batteries, chargers, pet supplies, and cash, and any other items that would be needed. Preparedness can be gradual. Building a kit over time is often the easiest and most affordable way. Second, know your evacuation zone. It is essential for residents to know their evacuation zone before a storm approaches to determine where they live in an evacuation area. Knowing your zone in advance prevents confusion later. If an evacuation order is issued, residents should already know if it applies to them and what steps to take. We encourage everyone to verify their evacuation zone, review the flood risk, and discuss evacuation options with their family members before a storm threatens Southwest Florida. And third, be ready to act. Preparedness is important, but action is equally important. If a storm is forecast to impact our area and local officials issue evacuation orders, residents should be prepared to follow those instructions. Evacuating early often is the safest option. Waiting until the last minute increases risk, causes traffic congestion, and limits options. Our message is clear: prepare early, stay informed, and be ready to act if needed. Consistency builds confidence. I also want to emphasize that our core hurricane preparedness and response procedures remain unchanged. The fundamentals remain the same: know your risk, have a plan, build a supply kit, know your zone, and stay connected to trusted information by using Lee Prepares app, enrolling in Alert Lee, or following any official guidance from Lee County throughout an emergency. And to Tony's point, following the National Hurricane Center and National Weather Service, as Arlene pointed out. While our systems and partnerships continue to improve, the actions of residents to take remain largely the same. Preparedness works. Before I conclude, I want to share one final thought. Many people associate emergency management with hurricane shelters, emergency alerts, or EOC activations. While these are important, they represent only part of the responsibility. At its core, emergency management is about leadership. It involves uniting people before crisis, making informed decisions with limited information, building partnerships, what we're doing here today, earning trust and communicating clearly, and guiding communities through uncertainty. Every investment in preparedness, discussion on resilience, partnerships formed before a storm enhances the safety and well-being of Bonita Springs and Lee County residents. As we move through this hurricane season, I thank you for your leadership, your partnership, and commitment to Bonita Springs residents. Together, we are preparing for the next storm strengthening our community's resilience, and demonstrating leadership before it is most needed. Thank you for your time today, your service, and the opportunity to be here. I will end with the talk Tony mentioned on El Nino. Don't let your guard down with the talk about El Nino. Hurricane Michael in 2018 and Hurricane Andrew in 1992 were both in El Nino years as well. So glad to take any questions if you have any.
Any questions? No. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. We also have a representative from the Bonita Springs Fire District as well.
Evening, council members, mayor. Andrew Schmidt with Bonita Springs Fire Control and Rescue District. I'm a deputy chief representing Chief DeWitt. He is away on vacation, well deserved. Just letting you know that our hurricane plan is complete, which means that we have everything in order as far as how we prepare for personnel coming in, strategic locations of putting all of our equipment, making sure that we are ready to go. Radios have been updated to the newest encrypted stations. Some of you may know that Station 24, our main station off Bonita Grand, is the South Division, where I've seen many of you many a times. City council staff will come along with other partners, such as the sheriff's office. That's where we all get together, and pretty much we are the South Division, so we coordinate with EOC, other fire departments, other agencies, kind of like our unified command area. We have a new vehicle on the way, which should be here next month. It's going to be a high water vehicle for those instances, if you remember, a little bit out west where the water gets a little deep. This is going to be a combination brush truck high water vehicle, 41-inch tires, can move 13 people at a time. One of the things necessary, I think, that we could have used last time, which we will have this time. So, but we're ready to go. Do you guys have any questions?
Any questions?
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. We have representatives from the Lee County Sheriff's Office and Community Policing Unit.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Mark Benora, Commander, Lee County Sheriff's Office, 4th Precinct. Lieutenant Tarcia behind me here.
Moral support.
Lee County Sheriff's Office 4th Precinct has our hurricane preparedness ops plan ready to include supervisor and manpower assignments, positioning of our assets pre, during, and post-storm, established hurricane shelters at the Bonita Springs Fire Department Station 24 and the Hertz corporate headquarters, critical venue locations and established points of contact for those facilities. In addition, our 4th Precinct participates in regular meetings with the Sheriff's Office Incident Management Team to coordinate efforts with the other precincts in the event we need additional assets and manpowers, and also coordinates with the Lee County EOC for additional assets and resources. Lieutenant Tarcia and his 21 or 22 community policing deputies will be prepared and ready to serve Bonita Springs in the event of a major storm. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any questions?
Just keep doing what you're doing, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I believe we have a member of Bonita Springs Utilities here with us as well?
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council and residents of Bonita Springs. Don Woodruff with Bonita Springs Utilities, Director of Operations. Give you guys a brief update. We have had our preparedness preparation discussions with Lee County Utilities and other local utilities in the region. That's an annual discussion that we do have for preparedness, as well as a regional discussion with Fla Warren that is for preparedness of aid if there's any aid that is needed for any of us utilities that are impacted from a storm. We've also updated our hurricane preparedness plan and our emergency response plan accordingly as well. And we've completed some, almost all, I should say, hardening activities out on the west end of town. As previously mentioned, we're well aware now of some flooding issues that we have in this area. So We did some strategic hardening with elevation of key generator locations as well as pump station control panels so that we can prepare and aid in wastewater collection and potable water delivery. So we are prepared to hopefully have a inactive hurricane season, but as was mentioned, El Nino systems, they've had a history with us too, so be glad to take any questions.
Nigel?
When you said the pump station control panels,
Yes,
that's
sir.
the lift stations, right?
That is absolutely correct.
Raise those up, and
Yep.
so I won't see the executive director out there after the storm trying to fix them himself.
Yes, that is correct.
Good to hear. How many lift stations do we have?
We have approximately 360 throughout the district.
Wow. Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Don.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Just to conclude, we want to express staff's great appreciation of the support of each of these partner agencies. It is a complete team effort to make a disaster recovery possible, and we would not be able to do it with each of them without each of them. As it was stated, the collaboration during the storm, after the storm, full recovery requires each of us to be in full participation and constant communication. So we're all in each other's speed dial. And we appreciate that partnership and support.
All right. Moving on, we have a presentation and update by Lee County Sheriff's Office Community Policing Unit.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. You have Commander Benor here, as well as Lieutenant Tarcia. This is part of the annual update that you all receive from Lee County Sheriff's Office on activity and the community policing contract.
Once again, Mark Benora, Commander, 4th Precinct, Lee County Sheriff's Office. These activity details I'm going to present to you represent roughly 54,600 work hours by the men and women of the Lee County Sheriff's Office, specifically those assigned to the Bonita Springs Community Policing Unit. I'd like to start first with the following activity that details our traffic efforts here in Bonita Springs. In 2025, deputies conducted over 16,127 traffic stops in the area. From these stops, they've issued 5,883 traffic citations, 16,850 traffic warnings, and made 66 DUI arrests. The sheriff has placed great emphasis on the safety of our roadways in Lee County, and we work to support that directive on a daily basis. In addition, our deputies conducted 1,501 traffic crash investigations within the city limits. There was a total of 73,613 calls for service in the city of Bonita Springs. 44,695 of those were what we consider self-initiating, meaning the deputies created a call for some call of some type for public service, including area checks, assistance, suspicious persons, etc. To break down some of those self-initiated calls, our deputies conducted the following: 4,661 checks of the city parks, 3,471 checks of the beaches within the city limits, and 836 crosswalk operations monitoring the safety of our pedestrians. And so these numbers basically work to keep our roadways safe, our parks and beaches safe. We responded to 28,918 calls that were not self-initiated, meaning the public contacted the sheriff's office requesting a deputy response. Included in those numbers, Bonita community policing deputies responded to 1,638 alarm calls. Of course, as you know, our deputies are an integral part of the city-sponsored events, providing security and traffic control for the 4th of July, upcoming, Holiday in the Park, Celebrate Bonita, and the Veterans and Memorial Day events. Any questions on any of those?
Just one, first of all, Mark, thank you for having the numbers. That's really appreciated. Would you repeat the citations and warnings figures? Number of warnings and number of citations?
5,883 traffic citations and 16,850 traffic warnings.
Thank you.
That represented 16,127 traffic stops within the city limits.
Laura?
What's your most significant concern?
Traffic. traffic, and that's countywide. That's not only within the city, but that's countywide. And the sheriff has given us the autonomy to have operations throughout the city. We just started. I'll bring this up. It's not complete yet, but we're starting a project on the in the city of Bonita Springs where we partnered with the Florida Highway Patrol. They just trained some of our deputies the other day to use our aircraft to conduct speed operations. So I'm working with the county DOT to put down some lines on Bonita Beach Road where we'll utilize our fixed wing plane and be able to monitor speeds, traffic speeds on Bonita Beach Road. So that's upcoming as well. That's one of our added objectives here.
Do you do any education at the lower schools, the elementary schools?
Well, most of that education revolves around bikes. They're not driving yet, so that revolves around bikes. We do bike details. We give away bikes, backpacks, lights, etc., helmets. So we do educate them on that.
And then in high school, drivers?
In high school, we do have a driving program that's put on through our community response unit. They teach the new drivers basic equipment maintenance, oil changes, how to change their tires, and then they go through a course where they do some serpentine driving. It's a very effective program. The teenagers just have to sign up through the sheriff's office.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Jim?
Yeah, first of all, Commander, thank you for all of your service and your team. I do want to compliment you specifically for your traffic control in two areas. One along the corridor on Bonita Beach Road out east of I-75. I've seen your vehicles out there. It has at least got some tamping of the brakes, and that's a positive thing out there. Second item is traveling in the evening and so forth along Imperial. I've seen your team out there, and I think it's cut down a lot of the speeding and the safety issues that have historically been out there. Thank you very much.
Welcome, sir. It's our pleasure.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on to public hearings. Mike?
Item 9A is a public hearing on an ordinance of the City of Bonita Springs, Florida, amending the City of Bonita Springs Comprehensive Plan as adopted by ordinance number 02-16 as amended, so as to amend the future land use element, transportation element, housing element, intergovernmental coordination element, public participation, monitoring, updating, and evaluation procedures, to revise and update the existing goals, objectives, and policies, and data and analysis in accordance with Chapter 163 Florida statutes, providing for transmittal to the State Land Planning Agency, providing for a conflicts clause and severability clause, and providing for an effective date and for other purposes.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. For the record, Jacqueline Genson with Community Development. I'm just going to do a quick introduction. We do have Dr. Banyan joining us on Zoom. I'm sorry, as I am already messing this up here. So we're going to attempt screen share, but in the event that doesn't work, I'm going to be here going through her presentation, but she should be on audio. Margaret, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. So Margaret's going to go ahead and let you know the responses that we've received back from the review agencies and where we're at, but this is the adoption hearing for those amendments. So without further ado, I'll let Margaret take it away.
Yes, good afternoon, evening. It's good to see everyone. I have a very short presentation, and you have heard many of the backstory and history of these amendments before. But for the sake of the hearing and for the sake of the public, so the context for the amendment is that the city is required to do an evaluation and appraisal review every 7 years. In this process, the city will look at any policies, goals, objectives, or policies that may be inconsistent with state law. We did that analysis from 2017 to 2022, and then processed your amendments in 2024. So we completed the year in 2023, process the amendments in 2024. As part of that process, the state does come back and make comments on the amendments. At that time, the state came back and said they would like the city to address new legislation that took effect July 1. And so part of that process, July 1, 2023, and part of that legislation was to update the text and the maps needed to reflect a 10 and 20-year planning period. You already had a 10-year reflected, but the state required that you reflect a 20-year planning period. Because that required a bit more data and analysis, we held off on that process until this last year. And in the last year, what we've done is we developed the amendments to update that planning horizon, went to the Land Use and Zoning Board, had a public meeting, and did the City Council transmittal on April 1st. After that point, the state does review the amendments once again. They had 1 month to do that. It's under the expedited review process. And the state has completed those amendments, and we are now at the council adoption stage. The state did make a comment on the amendments that were transmitted. The state would like that it was technical assistance comment, which you have the choice of whether to do that or not. But the technical assistance comment was that they wanted the city to be more explicit about the short-term planning horizon. In other words, to expressly state the short-term planning period of 2040 in the adopted comprehensive plan. So the revised text does do that. It adds both the 2040 and 2050 planning time horizons, and you will see those changes in your packet in the proposed amendments. But just a brief overview of all of the text amendments. There's amendments in future land use element, that's the map, it was amended map. Transportation element had 2 policies and the map was updated. There was a policy in the housing element, a policy in the intergovernmental coordination element, and then the text of the public participation element was updated. Also, I just want to just share for the adoption the updated map, and this is the same map that you saw in your transmittal package, and then also the updated long-range transportation map. I do want to make a note that we discovered there's a typo in the legend, so we will be updating that, correcting that on submission of the ordinance. So the typo is instead of FDOT, it's DFOT. So just a quick update there. And that is the conclusion of my presentation. We would be entertaining any questions or entertaining a proposal to adopt as amended.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. Motion and second. Roll call.
Councilmember Fullick.
Aye.
Councilmember Fitzpatrick.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Purdon.
Aye.
Councilmember Carr.
Aye.
Councilmember Bogas.
Aye.
Mayor Gibson.
Aye.
Councilmember Corey.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Dr. Banyan.
Thank you, appreciate it, thanks.
Good night.
All right, item 10.
Just to clarify,
Mayor, this is a public hearing,
Oh,
so we do have a public comment component.
okay. Any public comment on the comp plan amendment? Okay.
Good catch, Kaylee.
That's why we pay her the big bucks, Derek. All right, mayor and council member items. Chris?
Yeah, the first one deals with the memorandum of understanding among the governments involved in the BERT project, and it's really updating the length of time that the amendment covers. I'll let Derek speak to the amendment and what it does.
Essentially, I think, Chris, actually, you covered it pretty well. We're extending the term of the memorandum of understanding until after the referendum, and it provides for the sharing of costs as far as all the due diligence costs, everything that we need up to the closing period. And it's been approved with some modifications by both Collier and Estero. So this is the final form, and we're the last to sign.
Derek, just to clarify, I know it was approved by Estero. I think it's still waiting Collier. And what the motion of Estero was is to permit any non-substantive changes for the attorney to make in the interim should Collier or another agency have a little bit of a tweak to it. Unless you have heard differently. Last I had heard a Collier.
I haven't checked the approval from Collier, but they were the ones who held it up last time and made the last set of changes. So I would imagine that it's in this final form.
Correct. Yeah, it just hadn't gone to their governing board yet. It did go to Estero's governing board, and the motion was to approve with giving the attorney slight non-substantive changes should there be any tweaks to it coming up. But I think the clear part of it was that it does expire on August 18th, 2026.
Do all the dates also move proportionately as well? Because there are different time frames and different ways that the city can exit.
So this would not affect the city's portion or project in the fact that you're going to referendum vote. This is just the agreement between the three entities to work on due diligence together and planning of the project together. It does not affect our individual contract with the Trust for Public Lands.
So, Councilman Carr, the answer is the reason why we selected the date of the referendum is because if the referendum fails, the sale isn't going through for anyone, except for Collier.
Oh, okay.
Jim?
Yes, I support the extension of the date. I guess my biggest concern is when we hit the 18th and assuming that the referendum is a pass by the voters, my primary concern is having a thorough discussion as to what paragraph 3 will mean. That basically says the acquisition, construction, responsibility. There's a lot of, I think from my perspective, grayness as to how the implementation and construction is going to be managed by whom, whether it's collective or whether we maintain the right and control over how that is built out. And I'm not saying that I have any opinion one way or another tonight, because I do think we need to keep this going. But I think before we extend this, we have to thoroughly have a discussion relative to how is the management of construction moving forward handled. That's all I have.
All right. Laura?
Is there any way we can get it extended till November so that it could be in the general election instead of in our preliminary?
No.
Derek?
So the answer is I would love for the MOU to be extended beyond the date that was selected. That was not a date that we picked, because it's probably going to take a few days for the certification of the referendum. If there's any issues, anything like that, we can always extend additionally if needed. But we expect, I will tell you that we've already got a lot of the due diligence completed at this point. So the purpose of the MOU, a little bit to Councilman Fitzpatrick's position, is it's not to deal with any of the construction. All it is to deal with is the due diligence. That is ultimately the intent of the entire agreement.
And any environmental issues we've run into?
We are sharing the cost of the assessments, but the actual environmental issues are all to be dealt with independently.
So the due diligence you finished covers what?
It covers the surveying, it covers additional appraisals, it covers the title work, and it covers the environmental review.
And nothing came up in the environmental review?
The environmental review is not complete yet.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Any other questions? there a motion?
So moved. Approved.
Second.
What was that, Chris?
Second.
Second, okay. So we have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Mayor Gibson,
Aye.
Councilmember Fullick,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Purdon,
Aye.
Councilmember Fitzpatrick,
Aye.
Councilmember Carr,
No.
Councilmember Bogaz,
Aye.
Councilmember Corey.
Aye.
Motion carries 6-1.
Okay, thank you. Chris, item B.
Item B deals with the Wonder Gardens in terms of the projects that they have put into their master plan. And it's designed to give the city and the Wonder Gardens a little bit more flexibility, much like we provided Barron Collier on its projects on both sides of the river, where there's modifications to the building plans, they can be dealt with on an expedited basis. I'll let Laura, Taylor, and Arlene speak to it more directly.
I'll actually defer to John Dolmar if you can come forward, but what we're looking at is to prepare a special assemblage plan, which was the same technique used across with the Barron Collier property. The proposal that the Wonder Garden's looking at, some of the structures were not presented in the original master plan, specifically some modular structures, and this would allow staff to coordinate with the property owner to bring back some architectural recommendations to those structures and bring it into a form of compliance as a special exception.
Good evening, Council. Special assemblage plans were established downtown as a way for larger properties to kind of come with a site plan that you all can look at and bless that would include details in terms of architecture, design, site work. It does not get to the level of development orders or building permits, obviously, but it does give you a general feel for what's going on. What it also does is it provides a little bit of assurance for both the developer, in this case you through the Wonder Gardens board, and the board themselves as to what everybody expects. So if a building is shown in a particular location with a particular architectural style, it is then assumed that that building with that certain architectural style will be constructed there. If buildings move, if it's a different style, if it's something that somebody wants to make a change, those can be done and that plan can be amended as everyone's goals shift through time. So it was a successful process with Barron Collier for what we are constructing on the river right now. I would expect and hope that it would be the same type of process with the Wonder Gardens, especially since most of the site has already been constructed. So a lot of our work has already been done. I don't know if there's any questions, but sir.
Okay, so the major change is that they are moving to modular for these three pieces as opposed to permanent structures.
That was one of the requests, yes, sir.
Okay, so here's the question. I mean, I don't want to judge. I don't want to prejudge it without seeing it, but I'm not quite sure that was the view we had going into it in regards to aesthetically how it's going to look. Modular boxes over there is not what I'm thinking that we agreed to initially. So I just kind of like to understand that. And why the change?
That is probably a question for the board. However, what I think that the plan itself would offer you is the ability to look at the buildings and the site as a whole.
I love that. So procedurally, us looking at it as a whole and not having to do each piece, I love that. The assemblage idea, I love that. For big projects, I think it's essential to keep them moving. Specific to this one, I just want to nail down on why we're going from permanent buildings on this site to modular. Like for what reason?
I didn't provide the answer, but that might be something that the board themselves would.
Yeah, and I'd like to understand what the price differential is. Like, why are we doing this? Like, for what? It just okay.
Treasurer of the Wonder Gardens Board. The reason why we considered modular is because it's cost effective, it's timely, and it's permanent. And some of the contractors we're looking at have built permanent structures, equivalent permanent structures that are hurricane proof. They build them in Key West and other parts, and are also local and are in the state of Florida. And they meet all the state building code. So, and we're trying to minimize any disruptions at the Wonder Gardens, and also try to be within a reputable budget For example, we got $1.3 million for the event center. We can do it within 1.1, 1.3, and we can do it in an efficient, effective manner. And it's just built the same. It's just relocated to the Wonder Gardens. It looks like a permanent structure. We've shown some of the conceptual designs, so they meet the spirit and intent. They look just like what we already have over there, but we can do it quicker and we can do it cheaper, and it can be done to withstand hurricane, and it'll be permanent. So we just think, as a fiduciary responsibility, this is the right thing to do, and it's going to look great. It's going to look just like it's going to be a permanent structure, and it'll be cost effective, and that's what we feel that we need to do as the board members.
As an answer, I love that. I would like to see it because
Sure.
And that's part of the process. So this is a deviation of what was previously presented to you in the master plan, and that's why it's coming before you to give direction to staff. It would require, in the special assemblage plan, architectural renderings, which would have to come back to council. And there will be recommendations from staff, which we made clear in our preliminary meetings, that where the placement of these structures are, especially the shed, that there's architectural features put on to be in line with what we have as in our regular parks as well. So that was part of the discussions we had, and that would be submitted in the process and provided to council to review.
And I'd also, I'd like to understand, you may not have the numbers on top of your head, and that's fine. I don't expect you to necessarily have it, but I'd just like to understand what the price differential is and what the timeline differential is. So if we're talking, what is the price tag on the differential between modular and permanent? What is the timeline differential between modular and permanent? So that way, I think if I understand what the differential is there, it's easier to make a decision that I feel truly comfortable with, because, just on its face without seeing pictures, it doesn't seem like something I love. With your explanation, I'm okay with it, but I just kind of like to nail down on some of those things, I think.
Yeah, I think the big thing was the wording in the green sheet kind of throws it off a little. They're both permanent structures.
Right.
It's just that they're going to be built somewhere else under controlled situations, usually inside like a big hangar. And so that way they can build it, bring it here, put it together a lot faster, so that way there's not as much disruption downtown. And they make them, it's going to be a permanent structure, and they make them look like permanent structures. So there'll be a regular foundation, all that stuff. So
Just so you know, a good example would be Habitat for Humanity. They're doing modular builds now, and they are permanent. And they're doing it they were doing it on a commercial basis before they ever did it on a single-family home. But they're probably sturdier.
I think with what Mike's saying, with the structure and everything like that,
yeah, it makes it sound like it's a trailer.
it makes it sound like we're putting trailers all over the Wonder Gardens, which is not obviously what I would like to do. So
These are not, we feel the same way you do. We would not do anything to disparage the city or certainly the Wonder Gardens. So these buildings are permanent. They look just like what we already have. For example, the gift shop.
Yep.
If you've seen it, one of the animal care centers, the one we started first, it's a beautiful looking concept. So all they do is they build it, and then they bring it here and they put it together, and it's permanent. And these people who build them to withstand hurricanes. So that's what's different. In the time, I can't give you the exact cost, but it takes a much longer time to go through that procurement process. But we can also have these things built much quicker, and it'll minimize the disruption of the Wonder Gardens and the animals, and also city traffic and those types of things. So this is why we tried to think outside the box, and once we did our homework on it, found out that these facilities can be permanent and they can withstand hurricanes, and they look just like what we already have over there, the Southwest Florida feel, everything. That's why we decided to pursue this. So.
Jim?
Yeah, I think based upon the discussion, if I understand correctly, this is not necessarily a modular structure. It is a prefabricated building that's sitting on a foundation. All of the structural things, that it's elevated far enough off the ground. It will, if you're going to put a porch in front and that type of stuff for consistency, that's correct, right?
It is.
Okay.
And just so that we're all clear about where we are tonight, you're not approving modular buildings. There's no site plan in front of you tonight. This is basically to provide direction so that it would come back and you would have the opportunity to evaluate. So, but if directed, then that plan will be presented to you both in terms of site design, architecture, and landscaping.
Correct. So we're looking for a motion to direct staff to work with the Wonder Gardens in that direction to bring back a form of that and approval where you would be able to review the architectural renderings of that because it is a deviation of what was originally submitted.
Lori had.
So it's different than what Neil showed us a few months ago?
To be fair, I think those were more conceptual in nature. There weren't building designs, but it was not presented to you as it was site construction that was presented to you. This is a different form of construction, and there would be the opportunity to provide staff would be providing direction on architectural features.
Correct.
To keep it in line with the old Florida style that you've approved for the downtown.
Is there any money asked on the city's behalf?
There's no money asked.
This point is simply a plan.
No,
So-
but staff would be, you would be utilizing staff time, that's why we're asking for direction. And we would be the applicant as well for the special assemblage because we're the property owner.
Make a motion to move forward.
Second.
Motion and second. Roll call.
Councilmember Fitzpatrick.
Aye.
Councilmember Carr.
Aye.
Councilmember Bogas.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Purdon.
Aye.
Councilmember Fullick.
Aye.
Mayor Gibson.
Aye.
Councilmember Corey. Councilmember Corey. Motion carries.
All right, moving on to 11, city attorney items.
I'll defer to Derek if he has anything, but nothing to report on my end.
Derek, you have anything? Antonio, did we lose them again? Yeah, we'll skip that for now and go to city manager items.
Thank you. The first item we have, I'm going to have reviewed by our city clerk.
Thank you. So this item is to approve a resolution calling for and ordering a general election of municipal officers for the city council districts 1, 3, and 5 to be held Tuesday, November 3rd, 2026, and acknowledging 6 qualified candidates for said election. As you know, the candidate qualifying period for the 2026 municipal election closed at noon on June the 12th. And in my capacity as the qualifying officer for the 2026 municipal election, in my capacity as qualifying officer, I have determined that 6 individuals have satisfied all qualifying requirements under state and local law. And I know some of them are here tonight in the audience, some are on the dais. So I would like to read their names, and if you're present, I'd like to ask them to stand, if that's okay. Good. Starting with the following candidate is qualified to run for District 1 council member, Jamie Bogas. And Jamie has been declared re-elected because she was unopposed at the close of the qualifying period. So congratulations.
Thank you.
The following 3 alphabetically named candidates have qualified to run for the office of District 3 council member. Ruth Condit, Ray Sandelli, and Tim Voigt. And Tim was unable to be here tonight.
Oh, he is.
Oh, he's here.
Oh, is he? What? Okay. And the following 2 alphabetically named candidates have qualified to run for the office of District 5 council member, James Anderst and Nigel Patrick Fullick. Okay, congratulations to everyone for qualifying. So we need a motion and a second and a vote to approve the resolution.
Second.
Okay, motion and second. Roll call.
Councilmember Bogas.
Aye.
Councilmember Fullick.
Aye.
Mayor Gibson.
Aye.
Councilmember Carr.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Purdon. Aye. Councilmember Fitzpatrick.
Aye.
Councilmember Corey.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The next item I have is the presentation of financial report. If you like, we can just provide this copy of the presentation online since we had the budget workshop earlier. Additionally, I want to remind everyone that we are going to place an agenda item on each agenda item going forward to address the budget continuously through the budget process. So there'll be an opportunity to revisit anything or provide direction to council on that.
Sounds good.
The next item is an update regarding community development online review process and request to approve services agreement with Geo Civis plan review software.
Hello again. So, starting a few years ago, the legislature has started suggesting and recommending we start looking at online permitting. This past session, they required it, and so we are now in a position where we shall provide those services. Currently, we do have limited online permitting where we have garage doors, windows, front doors, electrical, mechanical, plumbing, roof, gas, fences, and signs have recently been added. So those can currently be permitted online. What we are looking for with this agreement is to actually have software that will allow us to accept those plans online, make comments on those plans directly, and then generate letters either of approval or for additional information based upon that. We looked at several options for this because time was short and we have previously used this software during COVID. Some of the initial startup and creation of processes was already in place. So this was a clear leader in the clubhouse when we started and probably going to be the fastest one we would be able to implement. And since we've been given a July 1st deadline, we don't have a lot of time to mess around. So with that, I'll answer any questions, but this is the recommendation because we don't have a lot of time for other options.
I do have one question.
Yes, sir.
Are there any of the other on the horizon statutory requirements that we're going to get hit with in terms of putting online? Or is this basically going to take, well, we knew about this for a little while. I mean, is there anything that's sitting out there that a year or two from now we're going to be confronted with?
We're really looking at review timelines right now. Once you can accept all the permits online, there really isn't going to be an increased online presence or standard. What's available in terms of public information may be increased. In terms of how quickly things have to get turned around could be increased, but this is about as far as you can go with online permitting.
Okay.
Besides online permitting, there are some additional permitting requirements coming down the line that we'll be coming back to you with regarding some mutual aid agreements and there's some additional requirements that are coming online through this past legislative session that we're reviewing with you that could be some additional costs coming forward.
So are these potentially modules within this software that could be piggybacked on this thing? Don't know. That's fine.
We don't know yet, and some of them will be outreach with adjacent municipalities. So there are private provider opportunities as well as there's an opportunity to work with additional mutual aids of other jurisdictions as well.
What I think is happening is you have this that deals specifically with municipal or county permitting. So this is when you go to your city or county, this is what deals with this. There is a significant number of changes that go into private providers providing reviews, also the possibility of expanding that beyond building into engineering, environmental subdivision, and planning. So there are a lot of changes that are coming into effect. The private provider for building changes are going to start July 1st. When you start looking at the planning, engineering, and subdivision changes, those are going to go into effect January 1st of this next year. So there's a little bit of time between now and then. But for online permitting and for what we're doing locally, this is going to be probably the biggest thing that's going to change right now, except for someone signing up a private provider to do their building plan review and inspections.
John, when you and I talked earlier this week, you'd explain the fact that the software has already been upgraded from when we initially looked at it, and they're a business, so if there's changes, it would behoove them to upgrade their systems, yes?
Yes.
Kind of common sense.
So it's one of the, it was relatively cheap and we really liked it. So there was kind of a simple initial decision during COVID, and they've been acquired since then, but there have been some improvements made as well, so it still was a solid decision.
Any comments from our contractors or homeowners that have used it?
Oh, this would be for us. It would not need to be for, the public would not need to download it. They would simply go through the permit portal and submit the plans to us. We would use this software to generate the comments, and you can write on the plans. We're coming up to the 21st century, so.
I remember that remark.
I heard that once. So this is, yes, so this is not something a engineer or architect would need to have a license. This would be for your community development staff to use to review those plans when they came in.
Any other questions?
And we do need a
motion?
motion, sorry.
Motion to move forward?
Second?
Motion and a second. Roll call.
Councilmember Fitzpatrick.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Purdon. Mayor Gibson.
Aye.
Councilmember Bogas.
Aye.
Councilmember Carr.
Aye.
Councilmember Fullick.
Aye.
Councilmember Corey.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right.
I'm just going to start again for the monthly reports. If you look at the bottom two charts, those actually go into what I was just discussing. On the right is what was submitted online, and on the left is if they wanted to, those 69% of permits could have been submitted online, but those simply include building permits. So we're going to be expanding those beyond just building and getting into engineering and zoning as well. This last month was up a little bit in terms of all of our friends coming to visit and stopping by. Building permit fees were also up, probably about another $50,000 over the previous month. That has to do with a couple of things simultaneously. The first is the old Bonita Grand Mine, now rebranded as Vivid Shores, is starting to pull single-family permits. And we also have seen probably the full effect of those increased building permit fees. Up until now, you had permits that were resubmitting based upon old fees. Now we're starting to see everything come in the door under the new fees, even more so than we saw last month. Engineering and environmental also still top the list in terms of a lot of workload. And just keep in mind when you look at, what page is this? Page 4, where it's talking about inspections and permit reviews on page 3. Those will now be under statutory requirements for review. So all of those residential permits are going to need to be done within 5 days. And the commercial, I believe we have 10. So we're going to keep everybody busy. So I don't know if there's any questions, thoughts.
Doesn't look like it.
All right. Well, thank you all very much.
Thank you, John.
And the last item I just needed to address is that the city staff did receive correspondence from Senator Martin's office. They are requesting a financial analysis covering FY 2019 through FY 2030, which does consist of some historical revenue projection and additional out-year projections. We have had communications with Lee County and our other neighboring jurisdictions. And as well as we understand that Lee County has reached out to Senator Martin's office as well, talking about that we would like to work on a unified methodology of how we provide those projections. Additionally, prior to submitting any of that information to an outside entity, we would be reporting that to the City Council first. So we've informed the Senator's office that we're working on it, and we would, once we had the information gathered and the projections identified in the methodology, we'd be presenting that to our respective boards first and then to the office.
Question. And I love John. He's a personal friend, but question, what is the purpose of this exercise? I want clarity on it because we're going to put staff hours into this. And if we aren't getting outside sources, then that means we have staff who's not working on this to put this together. So I just want to understand, before we give it to them, I'd like to understand the purpose of the exercise. What are you trying to get me to say?
So that wasn't provided in the correspondence. It was a request for us to prepare the methodology, the information, and the analysis.
I mean, with the council's permission, I will call John Martin and I'll ask him what is the respectfully, what is the purpose of us doing this? I just would like to understand the purpose before we do it.
And
like,
before we spend staff time.
And before we spend a bunch of hours on it. So if we're not getting money to have somebody do it from outside, and we're staff light, that means we're now doing it from staff inside. So if we're gonna allocate staff time and dollars and hours to this, I would just like to understand the purpose of the exercise before I slow down all of the exciting things that we have going on here. So tell me the purpose of the exercise before I commit a significant amount of time to it. I appreciate him. I love him. He's done great for us by the city, but it's important to me to understand what we're doing. Tell me why you would like to know what you need, and let me understand that, and then, okay, then we can talk about what the methodology might look. My suspicion is this has something to do with the looming property tax issue. I don't know that for fact, but I would like to understand, if you're going to get me to put all of this down in writing, exactly why, or what do you want it for? And then we can go from there. And he's a straight up person. He'll tell me, but with permission from council, I will make that phone call and ask him. I don't want to throw a wrench in what you have going. I'm not saying stop what you're doing. I can just tell you guys what he says, or I can call Arlene and you can excuse me, however you want to dispense that information. But I think everybody would be more comfortable knowing what we're doing this for before we allocate a significant amount of time to it, respectfully. And I don't think he'll take it any other way.
Jesse, how do you feel about staff even starting until we get that answer?
Yeah, why don't we get the answer first?
Do we have an option not to do it?
Yeah,
It's an ask.
he's asking us to do it. I mean, anybody can ask us to do something. I mean, now he just got his stuff in the budget, so I'm not trying to piss him off. At the same time, again, I would respectfully, John, what do you want this for, is what I would ask him. But I don't think he has no ability to say you must. Do I want to be the only municipality who says no? No. But is a little bit of, not pushback, a little bit of clarification appropriate? Well, it didn't even come from him. It came from staff. So, I think just elected to elected saying, hey, we got it. We're tracking. We have no problem potentially doing that. But could you explain what the purpose of this exercise is before we put the man hours into it?
Is there consensus for?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Right. Give him a call.
Can we clarify, we would not do anything as of tonight without that direction?
I'm good with that.
Well, but then we have
I
to
would
ask-
to say.
But I don't want to clarify. Then the second point is if you get that answer and they want it yesterday, we have no first week of July council meeting to go ahead and say, go.
I don't think they want it yesterday. I don't think all their ducks
I
are
would,
in a row yet.
if you wouldn't mind, suggest is each of the jurisdictions are communicating, our managers are communicating, as well as the county manager. If we can let that flow of information continue, let us work through the process, and you provide that information back. But if there's a request to provide it in between the meeting, that is going to be a little problematic. What we can do is if there's a methodology agreed upon and we provide that analysis, we would absolutely forward it to council prior to forwarding it to. But I think clarifying any questions you have is perfectly appropriate too.
You can talk to him in the next 2 days, can't you?
I'll call him today. I mean, I'll call him today. If I don't get him today, I can talk to him tomorrow.
I would ask that you allow staff to continue the collaborative process with the other jurisdictions and keep that.
No, I'm fine with that. I mean, honestly, without, I have no knowledge of what you guys are doing, but I'm assuming you guys are trying to figure out, okay, if we all have to turn in a report card, let's make sure we're doing it the right way, or we're all doing it consistently. I mean, I understand that. That's fine, but still, just understanding the purpose of the exercise to me is important, and I think it's appropriate to ask, and I don't think he'll, take it as a slight. He'll probably be surprised that nobody's asked yet, honestly, because it's kind of a big ask, especially with no context, especially with the property tax thing looming. Like, that's kind of a lot hey, I'd love to see all this. Okay, why? Before I do it, why? And I think that's fair.
Thanks, Jesse.
Okay.
And before, the city attorney was not able to hear us,
Yeah.
but he can now.
Yeah, we're going to circle back to
Okay.
city attorney items. Derek?
Thank you, everyone. I just want to thank everyone for letting me appear virtually. I will be out on medical leave probably through most of July. Kaylee, who's there with you, she'll be the point person. We've got a whole team, people that can jump on any issues that prop up. But if you need anything, please reach out to her, and I hope to be back earlier than expected.
Sounds good.
Thank
you,
you.
Derek. All right, moving on to mayor and council member reports. Jim?
Nothing to report.
Okay, Nigel?
TDC meeting last week was primarily celebratory Tamara's last meeting, and the only thing that we voted on or that was approved is the expansion of the TDC by 3 more members. So Cape Coral now has a permanent seat and a voting position. Two of the things I want to just make very clear, but first thing I want to do is congratulate Councilman Bogatz and thank you for running again. And if there are any questions in your mind about what the public thinks you're doing as far as the job goes, I think it's been answered, Jamie, so thank you. I had some calls and concerns. It's funny, we do this and people were concerned about the fact with the probable passing of the new legislation that important projects like Pennsylvania Avenue and the northwest corner of Tamiami Trail and Bonita Beach, that they weren't going to go forward, et cetera. And I talked to Arlene about this. Those monies are earmarked. We have them. The projects are going forward. So the two major, or our number 1 and 2 strategic priorities of stormwater resilience and traffic, important to the public, but no matter what happens, those projects are going forward. And then I think just to the folks who have been complaining about downtown, if you were paying attention during our workshop earlier, the simple fact that the amount of revenues that are coming in from downtown now as opposed to what we had 4 or 5 years ago, we're going to be very grateful that we have a downtown that's vibrant and producing tax revenues. So keep that in mind when you're complaining. That's all.
Thank you. Laura?
Okay, you guys know where the poker room is? And then they expanded it to do some type of sports events that you could vote, you could gamble on. They have pickleball courts and basketball, beach volleyball, et cetera, but you never see anybody there. It just was a failure as a concept. So they've hired an outside company called Elevate. And this Saturday, they're having a free fitness event over there starting at 8 with beach volleyball to then walking to Pilates and so forth. And there'll be local vendors and food trucks. And you can take a look at the whole establishment. There's an indoor, outdoor. It's kid-friendly, family-friendly, pet-friendly. You can actually put your friend in an air-conditioned little house, like it's a big house, bunch of pets. And I don't know, it sounds pretty cool. And maybe we'll see some people there.
Thank you, Laura. Jesse?
Yes. Number 1, I just like to get clarification for the record. Is that a playoff beard or are we doing a change, Mr. Mayor?
It started out as a playoff beard, but it may be a change.
Okay, I was just, okay. The people wanted to know, so I just, all right. And then,
Inquiring minds want to know?
yeah, on a more somber note, for those of you familiar with Feed Thy Neighbor, they do really great work in the community. And Tony, Big Tony, passed away 5 days ago. So if you guys didn't hear that, very sad. He's done a lot for the community. Great guy, huge personality. You don't miss him in the room. But, I think the city will miss him quite a bit. So I just wanted to share that and send my wishes to his family, his son Vince, and the Feed Thy Neighbor family. That's all I got.
Thank you. Jamie?
I just have a few things. Just 4th of July is right around the corner. And just a reminder that the Bonita Springs Fire Department Union is once again sponsoring the 4th of July parade, and the parade begins at 9 a.m. And then our city's festivities will begin at 6 p.m. at Riverside Park, where we'll have the Ben Allen Band, drone show, laser light show, and fireworks. And we look forward to seeing everyone come out to that. And I want to remind all the residents that the beach passes are available at the rec center. And that's a $60 with reimbursement of $50, so a total cost to the resident is $10. And I just want to thank everybody. I'm honored and excited about serving for another 4 years and looking forward to working with staff, with our fellow council members, and of course, the residents and District 1. So thank you.
Thank you. I'll just say congratulations to the Bonita Springs Everblades for winning their fifth Kelly Cup. Four of them in 5 years. It was an amazing night the other night. Double overtime. Didn't get out of there till after one in the morning. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then also thank you for approving the Riverfest permit. That's coming up on August 1st. We're looking for racers that want to race kayaks or canoes, paddle boards, and then also, vendors and just come out. It's going to be a concert and everything. So should be a lot of fun. Check out the website, riverfestbonita.com. So.
Mike, did they determine where the races are going to start, where the starting line will be?
Yep, it's going to start and finish.
Same place?
Yeah, at the bridge. It'll go down around a buoy and then back up. So that way everybody in the park can see the whole thing. So.
Races.
Yeah.
Oh, and Elevate got the poker room to contribute to Riverfest. That'll be the first time they've done anything with the community. So hopefully it's the beginning of something.
Much appreciated. All right, we'll move on to public comment.
I'm sorry, Mayor.
Hey.
Councilmember.
Oh, I'm sorry, Chris.
Yeah, a couple of things. One, late last year, the council approved a letter of support for Arts Bonita with respect to their seeking some grants from the state of Florida. They were successful in doing that for 2025, and they would like a similar letter of support for 2026. They have forwarded over a draft letter, which I think Arlene and staff have modified, but I would like to see that we would be able to go ahead and issue that letter of support, much like we did last year.
You would need a motion authorizing the mayor to sign the letter, and the clerk has drafted the letter for this evening.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Councilmember Fullick.
Aye.
Councilmember Fitzpatrick.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Purdon.
Aye.
Councilmember Carr.
Yes.
Mayor Gibson.
Aye.
Councilmember Bogaz.
Aye.
Councilmember Corey.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, one last thing. There's a bit of a dust up over the term data center that's being built, and it's unfortunate wording. It's basically a telecommunications hub. There's underwater sea cables that come out of Latin America and come into Florida in various locations. John tells me this one is one from Ecuador, and it's coming into Bonita Springs. And obviously, when it comes in, it's got to get out of the water and into a place where it can distribute the signal. So it's not a massive building with thousands of servers. It's not utilizing our water to cool it down, and it's not utilizing our labor to build it and then not have any jobs. So I just wanted to clarify that for a lot of people that have reacted to the term data center. And John tells me that one of our problems, we can't really clean up the language under Senate Bill 182. So, but I just wanted to make everybody aware of what it really was.
And I did also want to clarify, there was communication. There is no construction of a building on a residential lot adjacent to Doc's Beach House.
Correct. So we have a term that's left over from Lee County that goes back before data centers meant data centers. This is not an AI data center. This is more of a communication center. It's 17,000 square feet. AI data centers are anywhere from 1 million to 3 million square feet. They have a standard BSU meter connection. They have not asked for additional water use. They do not have additional power coming in there. A lot of the things that you would be concerned with on an AI data center or a larger facility just don't exist here. So I think we're looking at 17,000 square feet total. It's a 2-story building. The plans are in, nothing has been approved yet, but it's all under review, so it will work its way through and we will see what we see. But I have not seen anything that would alarm me other than the fact that we have an unfortunate legacy term of data center.
Thank you.
That's it.
All right, thank you, Chris. All right, now on to public comment. All right, seeing none, motion to adjourn.
Sure.
All right.